What's up guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be talking about jobs that don't require you to code. Now, one of the reasons why I started this channel was to bring exposure to you guys, right? Because a lot of you guys do not know about things that are happening around the world. Now, I know some of you are really smart, but majority of the people don't know a lot about how the industries are working or what are the opportunities available out there, what skills you should be learning. And that was one of the main reasons why I started this channel. So today, we're going to talk about jobs that don't require you to code. You know, a lot of people, a lot of my friends, a lot of people watching this video think that coding is the only way out. Without coding, you cannot sort of do something in life. That's the only way through which you can get a good job after college. But then today I'm going to share 4 or 5 experiences of some of my friends, some of my really close friends whom I've saw from 0 to 1, who've sort of learned a lot of things over time and now are doing pretty well in life. And none of these guys have wrote a single line of code in their entire life. They're all doing different kinds of jobs out there. I'm going to describe some of them to you, and hopefully it should give you some sort of exposure, some sort of perspective about what goes in the industry. Now, first of all, when you talk about companies, when you talk about startups, they have different roles, right? They have different functions. And software engineering is just one of those functions. It's super important. And I do believe that everyone should learn at least basics of code because it teaches you how to think. It just makes you, build things out for yourself. But at the same time, not everyone has to code. It's just one of the functions of business. There are multiple other functions of business. We'll be talking a bit about them, and I'll be talking about some of my friends' experiences who are doing pretty well in life right now and do not code. So let's start with example number 1. Now, one of my friends, his name is Aditya. Right now, he's working at a pretty good company. I'm going to tell you his life story of sorts so that you get some idea about what he did. Back in college, he was super interested in finance. At BITS Goa, there's a club called the Wall Street Club, wherein every finance enthusiast comes in. They have lectures on finance, they have trading sessions, they discuss about things that are happening in the financial markets, and it's a very interesting club, right? So this guy was the head of the club. He was one of the coordinators of the club, really into finance. His acads were really bad, right? So his CGPA was, I think, 4 or 5. Just really bad at acads, but a prodigy in finance. He knew a lot about finance. I've heard people say that every time they used to pass by his hostel room, this guy used to have 2 monitors and used to trade every single day. So a really, really talented person in the financial space. And in his 3rd year of college, he started this company called AlgoCard, wherein he was using algorithms which would trade in the stock market. So if you want to make profits, he sort of made those algorithms which traded in the stock market and helped you make profits while you were sleeping, literally, right? Because these algorithms were fine-tuned to understand certain movements in the market and accordingly sell or buy stocks and then make profits for you. Even I have an account on AlgoCard and did make some profits over there, but it's a really cool concept, right? Allowing algorithms to trade for you, because as a human, you can only be on the stock market for a while. You'll make a lot of emotional decisions, but these algorithms are very strict in terms of the decisions that they make, and they help you sort of trade in the stock market. Not a proven model, but a very interesting concept. Now, Aditya built out this startup called AlgoCard. It was more of a project at that point in time and grew it to a lot of people. Around 50 lakhs was invested by users of AlgoCard. So even I was one of the users, and just like me, there were thousands of other users who invested money and then saw their money sort of grow compoundedly in the algorithmic trading system. And he did pretty well with that startup. And in his 4th year of college, he had to choose. The startup was doing well. It had product market fit. It had some users, but then he had to choose between placements versus starting up. And he thought that, the startup might not blow up at this point of time. So he quit the startup. His other co-founders are still running it. And he thought that, hey, let's try my luck at some jobs so that I can work for a few years before I actually, completely go into the startup ecosystem. And during his placement time, this guy was approached by Paytm directly. Since his CGPA was too low, none of the companies inside our college came in, but he got an opportunity from Paytm. And they were like, dude, we like the project that you're building. Would you like to become an assistant product manager? Right? So product management is the first thing that I'm going to talk about today. If you have experience in building products, not just coding products, but building it out, as in what features should be added, how are you going to market this product? If you like thinking about all of these aspects of building a product, then product management should be the perfect job for you, right? And a lot of people who are hired as product managers straight out of college are called associate product managers. And this thing is becoming really, really popular. In fact, Cred has so many product managers over there. and even a bunch of other startups like Smallcase have a bunch of product managers working on different products. So if you like to think about features in a product, if you like, coordinating with a bunch of people, like you'll have to coordinate with the developing team, you'll have to coordinate with the marketing team, you'll have to report to the founding team. If you like working in that sort of environment where you're, making a bunch of teams to do some work and ship out a feature, then product management should be perfect for you. So do check it out and, contact some senior who's a product manager at some company, ask them how they got into the place where they are at. But here's what most product managers do. They work on a project before applying. So if you have successfully done a good project, then that's a feather on the cap and it should help you land a good job at a good startup or a company. Story number 2 is of one of my friends. His name is Gaurav. And right now he's working at a company that recently raised $10 million and is doing pretty well in life. So he is a growth manager. Now, let me tell you what a growth management role does. Gaurav has always been extroverted. He has a lot of connections, right? In fact, I heard that once he somehow got Priyanka Chopra's phone number also. So that's the level of connections he has. He loves interacting with people. He loves making connections. He loves, networking and things like that. So he has a wide range of connections. And here's where these connections come into use. A lot of companies want to sell their products, right? A lot of companies want to sell their products to other businesses. They want to sell it to other users, but not all of them have connections. So if you're someone who has connections, if you're someone who likes to, go out of their way and make connections and somehow drive growth, and growth management should be the perfect job for you. So the company that he's working for is a company that sells video solutions to other companies. So it's a B2B product. They sell to other businesses. And since Gaurav already has this extensive connection with other businesses, it becomes easy for him to approach other businesses and sell the product and tell them about the product. So he works for the growth division of the team. A lot of startups have this growth division whose only job is to increase, the number of users, the number of, people who are paying for the product and things like that. So if you're someone who wants to grow the project, if you want to sort of maybe run ads or maybe organically reach out or go out to different conferences and somehow grow the reach of the product. If you want to look out at other growth channels like YouTube, then this should be the perfect role for you. If you want to take a product from 10 users to 1 million users, and if you know how to do that, then growth management roles are open, and a lot of companies, a lot of startups need growth managers, right? Who doesn't want to reach from 10 users to 1 million users? Every single company wants to grow their user base. And if you think you can help them do that, then growth management roles should be perfect for you. So prerequisites is that projects really matter. So, if in the past you've proved yourself, if you've proved to people that you have good growth management skills, like if you've worked for some college club or if you've worked for some college festival, and if you've done a really good job at growth, then it's another feather in the cap. You can really prove yourselves to, the interviewers and tell them that, hey, I've done this for this college fest, and I think I can do the same for you, right? So growth management is another role you can explore. All right, so story number 3 is of consulting. Now, this is a hard part. This is a hard nut to crack because a lot of companies like McKinsey, Bain, Boston Consulting Group, they usually hire management students for some of their roles. But then if you're super confident about this, then you can try applying. If you're good at case studies, if you're good at analyzing companies, if you're good at making those presentations, if you're part of your college's consulting group, if you're part of your college's consulting club, then that's even better because you'll have other folks working at Boston Consulting Group, McKinsey, who will guide you and tell you how you can reach that path. So this is another field that you can explore. Consulting jobs are very top-notch, they're premier jobs. It's like super fancy and all, but very hard to get in. So I would say, if you really want to apply for these consulting jobs, then contact a senior, understand, what's the process like. But as far as I know, it's mostly through case studies. That's what one of my friends, Anjum, said. But this is something that I'm also not very sure about because they usually hire MBA kind of kids. But then right now, some roles are open to like fresh undergraduates as well. So consulting is something that you can consider. Every consulting role has a different prerequisite, has a different way of approaching it. So I would say the best way to do that is to go through case studies, A, and B is contact a senior working at one of those consulting firms and understand how the process is like. All right, number 4 is UI UX designer. Now, recently I heard that a lot of companies are paying UI UX designers as much as software engineers. And this is insane, right? Because software engineers can build out products, but then ultimately, when your product is used by millions of users, you have to sort of understand the user flow. You need to make sure that the product is something that the user likes. It's something that the user understands, and it's something that the user comes back to. Like, let's take an example of WhatsApp. WhatsApp is such a simple product. It's elegant. It's super simple. Even if a villager uses it, he'll be able to understand how WhatsApp functions. It's so simple to use, and people are looking for such designs. They're looking for user journeys. They're looking for great user experiences. And if you are someone who understands that mentality, if you think that if you can design a product that could be used by multiple thousands and millions of people and they love it, then UI UX is perfect for you. So one of my friends is also an instructor on Clarify. Kshitij Agarwal is a UI UX designer at Microsoft. He's still in college. He's still third year of college, but he's interning at Microsoft as a UI UX designer. They're paying him quite a lot. So these are a few roles that you can also explore. And if you can crack the right nut, if you have the right skill sets, if you can make great Figma mockups, if you can really understand user journey, if you can really understand, if you have empathy for the user, then a lot of these startups, a lot of companies and startups can offer you great roles as a UI UX designer or as head of design. So do check them out. And more importantly, I think the skill sets required is the understanding how users would react to your product, and B is to master a few tools like maybe Figma and some of those tools. The fifth one is normal core jobs like mechanical engineering, electronics engineering, and the core degree that you're doing. Now, I know a lot of people do not recommend that. A lot of people do not go ahead with that. But if you're genuinely interested in mechanical engineering, if you really think that you can work in the automobile industry, if you can work in the self-driving industry, then go ahead and do it, right? If you're super interested and if you're good at it, then it's fine. Maybe initially your pay might be low, but then eventually, because of your expertise, it might just go ahead, right? In fact, electronics core jobs give a decent enough pay. A bunch of my friends are earning over 20 lakhs a year by doing VLSI design for a bunch of other companies like Intel, there's Qualcomm and all of these giants. So if you're really interested in these kind of jobs, there's a huge demand. I recently did a podcast with one of my friends. You should check them out. It's called "Is Electronics Dead?" where he's explaining that there's a huge demand for VLSI design. There's a huge demand for a lot of electronics things, a lot of softwares that are used out there, even things like MATLAB. And if you can really master those things, and if you know how to apply for these interviews, then it's super simple. You can get into these companies and get paid really high. So yeah, if you're interested in electronics and electrical engineering, do apply for core jobs. If you do not like to hardcore code, applications or data structure and algorithms. All right, the final one is video editing. Now, video production, video marketing is something that I'm very, very bullish about. Every single company is going to adopt video marketing in some form or the other. So if you love video editing, if you love video production, if you love scripting, if you love making videos and making sure that production of the video is great, then video production could also be a huge plus point for you. I've been contacted by so many huge startups asking me to produce videos for them, asking me how I produce my videos. It's just insane, right? And they can offer me a job ASAP because I make videos. Though I'm not taking it, I'm doing Clarify full time, but there's a huge opportunity in the video marketing space. So if you're someone who's good at video editing or any part of the video production journey, then I think you should start approaching startups. There's a huge opportunity out there. And if you make good videos, if you have that design sense, if you know how you can make those great marketing trailers, then there's an insane amount of opportunity here. So do explore, video production as well. It's an awesome field, and every single startup is going to become a content company at one point in time. And video is the best way of expressing who the company is and what it does. So if you like video editing, if you like video marketing and all of those things, then definitely give it a shot. I know I've made a video with one of my friends about video marketing. Do check it out. He is a freelancer right now and is earning quite a lot by doing video production. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, if you want to meet smart people, if you want to learn about all of these skills, then do join in our community. We host a bunch of awesome events with some of the top smartest people in India working at great companies. So if you want to network, as I told you, right, consulting and all are things where you have to network and meet new people. So I think on Clarify, you can meet new people and get in touch with all these awesome folks. We have events every single day, but super interesting stuff happening. So do join in, and I'll see you in the community. Bye.